They look like one of those sex blow-up dolls.
Oh, whatever.
No,
Yeah, watch.
you don't.
Thank God I
Better watch out.
put the screensaver up for that one.
And he's about to spit all over himself, the drink he's drinking. This is funny as hell. Be careful, you're going to knock shit over. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, can you hit the video button?
Video button. Which one is that?
Should
Okay.
be a little video button.
You know, I've never used it before. There you go. How's that? I see a green
There
button.
we go.
Perfect.
All right. Doing good. Gotta love it. How you doing?
Yeah, doing fine. It's another beautiful day in Beverly Glen.
Where's Beverly Glen?
Right above Beverly Hills. I used to go to San Pedro's Pizzeria in Beverly Glen with everybody from The Price is Right, from Wheel of Fortune, and from all the girls. And that other show, not Dynasty, the other one like it.
Eileen says especially the bottom half.
What?
You're showing your age a little bit. It was owned by Vanna White's husband back then.
I know him well. You know, he got fat and old and bald.
Hold on. You got to fix it back again because now we lost half your head.
When he was young,
There you
he
go.
was the handsomest guy in the world. And his name is San Angelo, and his first name is, I forgot. But he was married to Vanna for years.
Short Santa Pietro.
Pietro. Well, anyway,
Actually, he said you're showing your age. Tell him how old you are.
I'm 77 years old.
Ah, well, then you were still, well, you were already old when that was going there, huh?
No, shut up. I was 40. But you know what? I was Janice Pennington from The Price is Right.
I was 20 when this was going on.
Well, wait a minute. Janice Pennington from The Price is Right, that gorgeous model. Diane, what's her name? The other one were good friends of mine. And I used to go up there, and everybody, Diane, what the hell is Diane's name? The blonde with the big boobs. Diane, oh, geez.
Anyway, we got to move on.
Probably Barb Barker. It was probably Barb Barker. We
That's
just went
the one that, wait,
the other day,
Dish,
which was-
Bob Barker fired her because she wouldn't sleep with him. And that's a true story because Diane told me. He used to hit on those girls all the time while his poor sick wife was dying of cancer. That's Bob Barker. That son of a bitch.
All right, so hold on. Okay, so we want to keep it. Are you on
Diane Parkinson.
Are you on a laptop or first of all, you have a beautiful window in the back. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
that's cool.
That's good. If you sit like that, that's good. Otherwise, we got to figure out how. If you want to sit back, we got to figure out how to move the screen so we don't lose you.
No, that's fine. I'll lean forward and pay attention.
There you go.
And meanwhile, I love Beverly Glen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tucked away, it's nestled, it's creased between the little hills. It is one of the most beautiful places to live in outside of L.A.
I have the smallest place in Beverly Glen. But
and it's about $40 million. Yeah.
So how is it okay if I introduce you as Slim Jim Phantom because we got to do an intro? And I didn't know. I know that is it, but sometimes I've just seen just Slim Jim and stuff like that, so I didn't know. But I like the whole Slim Jim Phantom. It sounds awesome. All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented multi-platinum recording artist Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats and lots of other things. Hello and welcome to the show.
Yay!
All my energy there. All right.
It's because you're old.
Before we get started, let me introduce you to everybody, starting out with our cool, outrageous man about town, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hello.
Hey,
now
Ron.
listen, I listened to your music, and I said to Jimmy, I am so happy that music is coming back again. It's my music, and I love it. And he's fabulous, and I love his group. And Jimmy said, Ron, that video's 30 years old. And I got depressed. Why don't you do that music again?
Well, we do. It comes in, you know.
I love it.
We do it every 5 years or so. But, you know, hit records like that are that's maybe a thing of the past for guys like us. I'm not sure. But
Well, we old bags buy albums, you know. We do hear, if we can still hear.
I mean, I'm very glad we did it the way, you know, the era that we came up. It was really, we had old school vinyl. MTV had just kind of really changed the whole game, and we were there for the whole kind of transition. And it was a nice time to make it.
Let me introduce you to a few more people. We got the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Hey, it's a real honor to have you. How are you?
All right, Murphy, a good Irishman on the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Then we've got a chat room full of people. Say hello to everybody in the chat room.
Hey, chat rooms.
And then Eileen Shapiro's in the chat room. Say hi to Eileen.
It's my pal. Hi, Eileen.
You gotta love it. And before we had you come on, we played Rock This Town for everybody, and Chad was saying how the Stray Cats were very influential like in his life, and so he doesn't usually he never actually says it's an honor to meet somebody on our show ever.
True.
I think it's the first time in 6 years. So you gotta love it. So you got lots of stuff.
So throw Chad a kiss. There you go, Chad.
Thanks, Slim. Appreciate it.
Now your day is made.
To say hello
Wait,
to Chad.
where's the dog?
Oh.
Yeah.
We have a
Kill.
bunch of dogs too, so
Now my dog is all excited.
What kind of dog is that?
Shepherd.
I don't know. He's the kind I found on the street like 3 years ago, and he
good for
was
you.
tiny and not going to make it, and now he has this life. He hit the lotto.
There you go. It's really cool because we have 2 rescue dogs also. We have a Brazilian Mastiff and an Old English Sheepdog Terrier mix, and they're both rescues.
I think he's like
fun.
Chihuahua mixed with Dachshund, little pit bull maybe. He's the vet said there might be 10 things in him, and I didn't care enough, just.
A dog. The more mixed, the better the brain.
Yeah, he's a nice little fellow. We hike every day, and people bring him their bones from the palm, and so he has a nice life.
How long have you been living up in Beverly Glen?
About 5 years. I
Oh,
came right before here. I was in Betty Lane, Coldwater, not too far. I always stay in the same area.
Okay, because you're a newcomer. You are aware of the people that live in Beverly Glen, some of the most famous people in the biz. You know that.
Sure. See, when I first came to LA, I lived in the Stone Canyon, and Beverly Glen was kind of the nearest place to get. Still is really the shopping center up there is the nearest place to get stuff. So.
Is that restaurant still there at the end? I forgot the name of it. The big.
There's one called Vibrato that's owned by Herb Alpert, and that's like a supper club. That's there. There's a sushi up there that's good. There's the deli, which we've been going to for years.
That deli's been there forever.
Yeah.
How about San Angelo's Pizzeria? Still there?
No, San Pietro. That closed.
San Pietro, right.
Closed in the 80s, I think.
It did.
So we should tell people though, because you're living there now, because Ron's actually from Brooklyn. Aren't you from Brooklyn? Were you born in Brooklyn?
Born in Brooklyn, yes. I was born in Brooklyn. I grew up mainly on Long Island, near to
Where?
town over Massapequa.
I grew up in Astoria, and then I moved to Garden City.
Garden City's nice. I was born in Flatbush, and my mother's people were in Bay Ridge. We spent a lot of time there.
Okay.
I grew up mainly went to school on Long Island, Massapequa.
So I was born in Red Hook, and then we moved to Brooklyn Heights. And then,
that's nice now.
Well, then it was nice too. And then we moved from Brooklyn Heights to Astoria. And then I moved out when I grew up.
Did you watch that movie back in, I don't know, I was a kid, so it must have been in the 70s, The Lords of Flatbush?
Of course, yeah. I loved it.
That was us, huh?
That's
Let me hear you say something. Let me hear you say a couple of words if you still talk Brooklyn.
You could say the Lords of Flatbush if you want.
No, let me hear you pronounce SODA.
Soda.
Yeah, you're from Brooklyn.
Drinking soda.
That's a
Then
giveaway.
don't drink soda when you're looking in the mirror, because it means you
In a mirror. That's right. Not a mirror, a mirror. Ask me about it. You're going to ask me later or what? Ask me.
My grandparents said Earl and Burl.
Earl and Charlotte. Go to the Charlotte.
Yeah, we didn't get that. That one somehow.
No, I didn't get that either.
Hated that one right out of us.
Yeah. So now you're half Italian or something, right?
No, I'm 100% Irish.
You're kidding.
McDonald and my mother is Doyle.
You ain't kidding. You're Irish.
Yeah.
That's super Irish. But, I lived in Brooklyn for a short time, then most of it was in Astoria. So I kind of have a Queens Brooklyn accent combo. And I won't lose it, and I refuse to polish it up. They've said to me, you can get more work in film if you speak better. And I said, no. This is what I want to be, a character actor from Brooklyn. And sure enough, that's all I've ever done.
So I want to go a little bit.
How about you? Does that box you in anything?
No, if anything, it was exotic. We played rock and roll, and it was, and then we went to England, and we were right off the boat.
Oh, they love it. They love the Brooklyn accent there.
Then it was nothing rounded off yet. No edges had been polished up. We were right off the boat.
No, but when I go visit my friend James Jessup in England, he has friends over, and one time he said, Ron, stand up and talk. I said, why? He said, everybody loves your accent. So I felt like a zoo person,
To be and not to be, I don't know.
You know, it works even now. What do you think of music today, my friend? Rap and all the other junk.
Well, there's good music and there's bad music of any ilk. I think there's good rap, there's bad rap, there's good heavy metal, there's bad heavy metal, there's good rockabilly, bad rock. It's good music's good music, regardless of the genre. So.
Who are some people that are out now that, like, you might, if you were in the car, throw on your iPod or on your phone or whatever? Like, who are some of the people that are out now that you would listen to?
What's out now? Jack White from the White Stripes. He's always doing something cool. Follow what he does. I have a stack of records behind me. There's a whole lot of new bands. My kids are a little bit younger, and they turn me on to stuff. And if I hear things on the radio, but a lot of good guys from our era make good records. The Damned just made a great record, and
wait, go back to the Damned. I actually there's a club in Fort Lauderdale called, now I forgot the name of it, the Culture Room. And back in the day, I used to be a celebrity clothing designer, and they wanted me to do a punk rock fashion show. Right. And I made all these really wild clothes, and we had like dildos on drills and all kinds of stuff, chasing people around on the stage, and it was a lot of fun. And it was the opening act for the Damned.
Class show.
No, but we were the opening act for the Damned, and then the Damned came out and like played their show. They were really cool. Like, we had a really great time.
I work with Captain Sensible from the Damned, who was probably the most outrageous one of them. He and I do a side project together.
What's the name of the side project?
The side project is the Jack Tars.
Oh, that's fun.
It's myself, Captain Sensible, Mike Peters from another 80s band you might open for called The Alarm, and a guy named Chris Chaney, who plays with rockabilly group The Living End, who were new.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's
actually, you've done a lot of stuff, because I read through your bio, like besides the Stray Cats, I wrote down that you played in Rocker, Phantom, Slick, the Swing Cats, Dead Men Walking, which has members of the Cult, Big Country, and Sex Pistols.
Yep.
You did stuff with Jerry Lee Lewis, in a band with Harry Dean Stanton, which is like one of the greatest like actors on the planet. And a lot of stuff with Lemmy, who I actually met like in Florida many, many years ago, and I was like one of my most exciting like meets ever.
What was Jerry Lee Lewis like?
Hang on. Jerry Lee, he was.
Was he really crazy like he was on stage?
Yeah, like of all the people you mentioned, they're all my pals. Lemmy was one of my best, really one of my best pals ever. And everyone else that mentioned, we were all friendly, and that's kind of like. The music was a result of kind of being, friends and what you do together. Pick up a basketball game, you pick up you do a song kind of thing. So, but Jerry Lee, I don't know if I ever really got to know him that well. He was very cool, and he traveled separately. They all lived in Memphis, and I came from L.A., and so I would meet them at the gigs, and it was like when it was on, it was really on. But this was in the 90s, and he was kind of old then. So
right, because he's my age. He's my age.
But he was certainly like had a presence about him, like a slightly evil Buddha.
Right.
He was. But he's one of the guys. He's helped invent rock and roll. He's.
What'd you think of Stevie Nicks?
I had a lot of funny stories about him, and it was over the course of like many years that I got to know him, and then ultimately played with him.
How about Stevie Nicks?
Stevie Nicks, do I know Stevie? I would know Stevie Nicks to say hello to in an airport. I think we did a few shows opening up for her in the past, and she was always cool. She invites you in the dressing room. She's got really loud music and dancing around. And there's like almost a slight party going on around her. I like her personally.
I love Stevie. I love her.
Yeah, she's real rock and roller.
So you're married now, but at one time you were married to Britt Eklund, and one thing that I think is kind of cool about it is that there was a big age difference, and even though everybody thinks that we're the same age, like we have that same age, almost the same age difference that you guys actually had, because Ron and I are actually legally married, and
we're faggots. In case you didn't know.
But how cool was that? Like, you were married to like one of the most famous like Bond girls ever, who also was married to Peter Sellers, and I think she dated Rod Stewart. I mean, she dated some really high profile, including you, because you're very high profile.
She was quite the beauty in the strip.
Yeah, we're very close. We stay in touch, and I met her. I was in my early 20s. She was in her late 30s. At 38, Britt Eklund was still the hottest girl in the room. So
do you remember her movie Minsky?
Yeah, of course.
Burlesque. How gorgeous she was. She was breathtakingly beautiful.
They were married for like 10 years.
We were married for a long time. We have a son who's in his 20s, and we're all very close, really.
Is he in music or entertainment?
He's a very, very good drummer. He plays drums, and he's also a chef. He's multi-talented. He works at Yahoo. He's the chef in
Yahoo.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
A very nice joint to go have lunch. You know, they treat everyone very nice over there. So he does that and plays at night, works in the day. He's a good guy.
I love drummers. Like we had Bobby Blotzer from Rat on. Well, we've had a lot of like prominent drummers on, and Chad never says a word about any of them until you came on.
Right.
And one of the things he said was how cool it is that you can stand up and drum.
Well, that was the thing. You know, when we first started doing the Stray Cats, we were very very driven to do something that no one had ever done before. And I don't know of anyone. Sure there'll be some nerd research out there that had the drummer stand up at the front of the stage. I don't know anyone that did that. And when we were just always trying to push it, we came up with that idea, and we ran with it. And it was, I think, a completely original thing that we did. Well,
taking you back in time, Gene Krupa, if you know, of course you know who Gene Krupa is. Who doesn't? The greatest drummer to date. I don't think anybody's ever hit drums like Gene Krupa has still to date. He would stand, jump, kick. I mean, he on his knees. He was all over the place. And how the hell he did that and kept the rhythm that he kept and hit the right things at the right time with his legs going. I mean, he was phenomenal. I was a little kid, so I don't remember him that well.
Practiced.
Huh?
I know how he did it. He practiced like everybody.
Come on, no. They said that he was so hopped up on heroin and coke that he didn't even know where he was half the time. He was just flying.
There's a lot of guys hopped up on heroin and coke who can't play the drums, though. So it's
Krupa was fabulous.
Drummer first, and then anything.
So how old were you when you started drumming?
When I started drumming, I don't know, maybe 12.
Because I wrote down that you took lessons with Mousy Alexander, who played with Benny Good. So
Yes, Benny Good. Mousy Alexander was friends with Gene Krupa. I think Gene Krupa couldn't do a tour, and he suggested Mousy for the show. Mousy was a real jazz cat, and he lived a few train stops over. And Eileen will know. We were in Massapequa, and Mousy was, I think, Merrick, so it would have gone Massapequa, Seaford, Wantor, Belmore, Merrick. You know, and I would hop on the train with my drum book and my sticks and walk from his house up to down from the train station. And he was an old jazz cat who had a goatee and said daddy-o and really was that guy. And he gave drum lessons in his basement, and he knew Benny Goodman, and he also worked with Dinah Washington. It was He was there at Birdland, and he was a couple train stops over.
Birdland. You're bringing back memories.
Found him, and we were close. He was he was a good guy.
Is Birdland still there? It was on Broadway in New York City.
I have no idea.
I think so. I think Roseland was there for a little while. That was on.
Roseland was dancing. Birdland.
Yeah.
Peggy Lee used to sing in Birdland when I used to go, and Peggy Lee.
In the 80s, we did a gig there. They were trying to get it back going. There's some of these old venues.
Oh,
Birdland, I don't think so. 45th Street, somewhere like
45th
that.
45th and Broadway. Yeah, on the east side of the street. I used to go to Birdland. Earl, do you know the drummer Earl Palmer?
Yes, I was friendly with him. If you would have let me know, I have some photos with him. I can.
Earl's a good friend of mine, and his son also is a good friend of mine. And Earl Palmer, he's a studio musician, was a phenomenal guy. We used to go to the Baked Potato in the Valley. Did you ever go to the Baked Potato?
About 300-400 times.
I love it. Yeah, well, you see, you and I could hang out, because when I move back to California, I intend to go back to the Baked Potato, and I hope it's the way it was.
It's owned by a guy
like it used to be.
Who was part of the Wrecking Crew, who made famous studio gang of musicians. Don Randy was the piano player, and he owns Baked Potato. Still there.
So you know who used to go in those days? Red Fox, and Red Fox was dirty. I mean, you think I'm dirty on show? We should have Red Fox. Red Fox, I went with my sister-in-law, Venera, who's as milk white as they come, with platinum white hair and blue eyes. And when she walked in, Red Fox said, Oh, another white one. And he got it, and he went to hug her, and he stuck his tongue in her ear. He was just, Fox was just notorious. Red Fox was no, we loved him. He was a riot. He'd sit at the table with a bunch of white guys and white girls, and his Baked Potato, by the way, is an all-black club. And Red Fox would be sitting there making fun of the white people, but so funny we couldn't stop laughing.
So real quick then, I got a question for you. It's actually from the chat room. They want to know what drumstick makes you used and what do you think of the supply industry today?
Wow.
I use Vic Firth, who makes my own model drumstick. I mean, and if there's any drum nerds out there, Vic Firth was one of the original kind of drum makers. He passed away, but I had my drumstick deal with him. He was a great old guy. And just on that quick thing, I'm very happy to say that I've endorsed the same companies for 100 years, and it was through my deal from Fred Gretsch, who owns Gretsch, Armin Zildjian, who was one of the family, made Zildjian cymbals, and Vic Firth, who were all the original guys. And back then, I was the crazy kid that jumped on the drums. And I just saw Fred Gretsch, and he said, "Oh, look at this crazy guy." I said, "Fred, my kids are older now than I was when I met you." That's how.
I also.
Would you have a special stick made
Yeah,
for the weight? I mean, is there something to it?
It's a 5B. If you want to get technical,
I have no idea what that means.
It's a 5B size with a nylon tip.
I have one more question, and then I got something I want to ask. But someone from Germany wants to know if you remember Lorelei Rockpalast. I don't know what that is.
Yes,
Lorelei Rockpalast.
Yeah, they just released that on a home DVD. It's much easier to remember now. Lorelei was a big festival, like since probably the 70s. Like Lollapalooza would be here, or one of those.
Okay.
Very, very famous festival. Everyone's played Lorelei Festival. And that was one of the early ones that the Stray Cats did. And it was all filmed for a TV show that was called Rock Palast that used to get broadcast on national TV in Germany. And we did Rock Palast twice, once at a club and one at Lorelei. And they just released a really nice home DVD package with both of the gigs and interviews that I didn't remember, and a lot of
interviews I don't remember.
If you asked me 6 months ago, I wouldn't have remembered it. Now I do because I got the test pressing in the mail.
There you go. So I bet you'll remember this, though. You got a book, and I'm not sure how long it's been out, but it's called "A Stray Cat Struts My Life as a Rockabilly Rebel." I saw it on Amazon. It's got great reviews, everybody, too, so you guys should get it by Slim Jim Phantom. You can just plug in Slim Jim Phantom. Tell us, what do we expect like in this book?
All right, is it on the screen?
No, it's not on the screen, but oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Now it's
on the screen. Go up a little higher.
Lift it up.
Higher.
There we go. A little higher, even more. Cover your face a little. There we go. There you go, everybody.
Well, it's a very good autobiography that I wrote myself. I didn't tell stories to some ex-rock journalist who made it sound like it was my book or anything like that. I wrote the book while on this couch. And it was really time. I did the liner notes for a friend of mine's book, and it came out good. So the agent for them asked me if I have ever written myself. I said no. It's one of those things that if you never try, you can't get rejected, even though you think you could do it.
Yes.
So my book agent, Dana Newman, who's kind of the star of the show for me, she kind of goaded me a little bit, like like a nice English teacher, into writing like a couple chapters. So I wrote one chapter that was about Lemmy, and it was just a random story about he and I going out in London playing the slot machines at the casino, and 25 pages later, we're paying the taxi driver in coins. But in between that 25 pages is who else was there, where we went, what happened, the other people we crossed paths with. So like what London was like. It was 1981, I think the story was. So just like a broad stripe of using the story, but to get to all the details. And she liked that, and then asked for another story, which I wrote when the Rolling Stones were fans of the Stray Cats. They came to the pubs really to see us play. They heard about these American guys that did rockabilly the right way, and they came out and really supported us and brought us on tour with them on the Tattoo You tour.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a couple years after that, and we stayed, friendly with those guys. Again, they were very nice to us. We could come and go as we pleased on any tour since then. And then I did a solo record with Phantom Rocker and Slick, with Lee Rocker and Earl Slick, and we had written a song that was perfect for Keith Richard. And so I took a shot, and I called him, and I said, "We're in New York. We're doing this record." And Keith Richards answers the phone. "Hey, man, I said, "Well, we're doing this song," and he was in town and agreed to do it.
There you go.
So he came in. It was the next day. So he played on my song. And how do you pay Keith Richards? You give him some money in an envelope. You give him a check. There's no way to pay that. So I had a jacket, a leopard skin jacket that he really liked. So I said, "Here, just take my jacket, man." It didn't fit him. I had longer arms. So all right, well, so that was that. So I was determined to pay him somehow. So his manager, Jane Rose, when he was asleep in their office, she measured him and sent it to me, and I gave it to Glenn Palmer, the rock and roll tailor, and he made the same jacket for Keith.
There you go.
Now, could you do me one favor?
Till a few years later, just now went to the Hard Rock in Vegas or something, and I go up to the mannequin, and there's a Keith Richards guitar and a mannequin, and it's got the leopard skin jacket that I got. So flattered, maybe he was getting rid. I don't know, but
flattered.
It's right there. It's a provable story.
You have to do me a favor. Hold it. Could you pull your camera down because we're losing your head?
How's that?
Good. Yeah, because we were getting onto your chin.
There you go. Perfect.
So I wrote that story, dragged that out to 30 pages, and I gave it to the agent. She shopped it around, and then we had a few offers for it because they liked it, and they saw what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to do a TNA rock bio. Other guys have done that much better than me, jumping out of airplanes while shooting heroin with 3 strippers. Other guys have done that. So I tried to do it a little bit more kind of like PG-13, tell some nice stories and say who was there and have a little bit of a style to it. And a few people liked it. So I eventually went with St. Martin's Press, who's like a very nice imprint, because the guy was Irish and he was a Yankees fan, and that was why I went with them. So then I had to sit down and do it. And I was waiting for bursts of inspiration where you go and you run in the next room and you write 80 pages, and it just doesn't work that way.
Eileen says the book is fabulous. The book is cool, lots of great stories. And where can we get the book? I know it's on Amazon, you guys, so you can go on Amazon and get it. Again, the title is A Stray Cat Struts, My Life as a Rockabilly Rebel by Slim Jim Phantom. It's got a great cover.
Hold it up higher.
Hold it up higher. Hold it up higher. There you go.
There you go. You got it.
Perfect.
There's all sorts of good pictures. I mean, all the people that we're talking about, I had to go to license photographs is very hard because you have to track them down and who owns them and get the. So it forced me to go into the dreaded storage and take out some boxes, and I found a treasure chest of like fantastic photos that no one else had seen, with all the people that we mentioned, Keith in the studio, just all sorts of great stuff.
Do you miss the music of years ago?
I did it all myself. But St. Martin's is a very good house, so you can get it at Barnes & Noble, any of your local place that still sells books. They're very good. It's in all the stores, and it's also on Amazon if you want to stay at home and do it. But
all right. So Ron's got a question for you.
Yeah. Do you miss the music of 30 years ago, and would you love to perform that again? Did you love it?
Yeah. Well, I was young and had a hit record. It was kind of cool, and the Stray Cats were a bit of the story. Is that what we do is American rock and roll, original.
And you were big. Stray Cats were big. I remember you guys. I remember the Stray Cats.
Very well.
And I was already old.
But
I'm from the Johnny Mathis days. Do you know Johnny Mathis?
Sure, I love Johnny Mathis.
Do you know him?
Do I know him? No.
I know him. He's wonderful. He's the sweetest. I know where he lives, right up on Beverly Cliff. Sunset Plaza Drive. He's one of the sweetest people in the world. He's still going, and he's 80, and he's still doing concerts. How do you feel about when you're 80?
Well, hopefully I'll get to 80. I'm pretty fit. What
do you think you'll be doing?
Little dog every day, and I'm trying to think. Well, see, when we did it, we were so young. There was a certain genuine innocence to it all. We were just really, I was, with with the guys I went to school with, and here we are, we always knew it was good. Even when we were playing in bars in Massapequa, we knew it was special. We knew it was good, and there was a certain confidence that we had with the each other guys. And what we learned is that the original American rock and roll pretty much forged the way for everything that came after that. So we had people like George Harrison came around, and who was my pal, and the guys from the Stones, whoever you want to mention of those English rock and roll classic rockers, they all loved it and made little pilgrimages to come and see us to see if what they were hearing was right, because we had a big buzz about it. We were American guys really playing this rock and roll.
Where did you play in Massapequa?
Massapequa, Authors was on the set. We played a few places in Belmore by the train station. We played in Amityville, Route 110. But then we moved to England when we're still young. It's all in the book. We moved to England in 1980, and we're homeless in London and trying to get gigs. And we finally got a few gigs, and there was a little bit of a word out that there's these kind of crazy guys that have nowhere to live, and they're turning up and playing gigs. And it led a big fuse for us. But it all came down to when we had all the marbles on the line, we had just been playing on Long Island 5 sets a night, 4 nights a week for a year. So we were ready.
Those are the stories that'll sell you a book,
Yeah,
Talk about those stories, you'll sell your book, definitely. Everybody likes to hear about the lean years before the fame and fortune came, because so many people struggle today.
Yeah, so we went from kind of being homeless to having hit records. It was pretty...
I mean, really homeless, like no money?
Yeah.
Flat broke.
Flat in London, in a foreign country.
Without knowing anybody to get a meal or a place to sleep.
Nothing.
That's balls. You have balls, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in the book. It's all kind of historic stuff. It's, so, but it's my story of it. So, and it's...
Sounds good. Sounds interesting.
I think you'll like it.
So do you have an actual?
You might have already even read the book before I was on the show.
I didn't read the book.
Must I tell you how many books I received from people? I would have to sit home for the next 20 years and just read books.
He doesn't even research anybody, Jim.
No, I don't.
Slim Jim Phantom. He doesn't. So until we had you come on, he doesn't read the press releases or anything for anybody who comes on. That way, it's all fresh and he gets to talk about it. Fresh.
I want to learn the way the audience. No, I want to learn the way the audience learns, and
but that's what. Because I didn't know who you guys were either until Eileen told me.
No.
Oh, I knew who you were.
I knew the Stray Cats. But I didn't want to research you to sound rehearsed. I wanted to hear it fresh as the audience hears it. And I think that's what makes me one of the number one reporters. I can get him that he doesn't know us.
I can dig it.
I think it's fantastic. So do we have any new musical projects coming up or any music that we could send people to iTunes or someplace to get? Or
Yeah, there's something that's brand new that just came out, kind of a bit of a passion project. Like we talked before, I did a band with Lemmy called Headcat. We had it for really 17 years, I think. We used to go out and do gigs when he and I and Danny Harvey, the guitar player, had holes in everyone's schedule. Lem and I would just go to Vegas, go up and down the coast and the West Coast, just put the drums in the car or get someone to drive. And
that's so cool.
My kid would come and be the driver and do that was part of his family job. Some people have to work in the family dry cleaners or the bakery. My son had to drive Lemmy around and set the gear up.
Yeah. What a terrible thing to get to do. I would have done it in a heartbeat.
Well, that's what I used to tell him. I don't want to drive Lemmy to the airport. Gotta help out, man. That's what we need. But anyhow, so we had made a couple of albums over the years, and just now I had a bit of a passion project to record a song, like a tribute song for Lemmy, and I used the old band name Headcat.
Okay. Is it available?
Yes, it's available on iTunes. It's available everywhere. The band's called Headcat, and the cover has a drawing that Lem did one day while we were in the studio that we recreated his drawing and put that out there. And it's a tribute song to him called Born to Lose, Live to Win. And I recruited a guy named David Vincent, who's famous in heavy metal world from a band called Morbid Angel, to kind of sing Lem.
People in the chat room are saying it's fabulous. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. So there you go. So
We're losing our time, so I want to get a quick question.
we're out of time.
Wait, I have to. This is important. Is your book in paperback?
Probably soon, I would think. That's why I'm going to sell some copies right now.
If you can't afford it in hard copy, how much is it in hardcover?
It's only $11. It's like $11.99 or something. It's cheap on Amazon.
Copies because I want to do another one, and I think it's all formula. So the St. Martin's people will see we sold X amount of copies, and I've got X amount of 30 more cool stories and a bunch of more photographs.
Okay, so folks, if you can't afford the $11 book, wait till it comes out. Well, a lot of people can't afford it, Jim.
No,
You'd be surprised the people that
How much does the
surprised.
podcast cost?
It's free.
This is free.
Yeah.
But no,
I'll
seriously,
do a reading on the
there
next.
are a lot of people that
We gotta
11 books right now. A box is big, so you can get it in paperback.
It's coming out, you guys.
When
You
it
can
comes
get it.
out.
Get it on Amazon, everybody. Get it for
But
Kindle.
it's a must to read.
It's a must read, everybody.
It's
Get
a
the
must
book.
read.
Follow Slim Jim Phantom. Follow
Yeah.
Slim Jim Phantom on Twitter, you guys. It's @official Slim Jim. I'm sorry, we're out of time. We went a minute
Yeah.
past already.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've been interesting and fun,
Thank
and I'm
you.
glad that you're from Brooklyn.
Yay! Stay in
Have
touch.
a good
I love
one.
you guys.
Thank you so much. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
We're way over on time.
That's okay. Hey, everybody. Sorry we went a little over time, but he's a great guy, everybody. He even said he loved us at the end. How cool is that? And everybody.
That's cool.